your scarf tutorial. So I use scarves for every single age group that I teach, so from babies all the way through to age 11. However, for this tutorial, I'm just going to focus on preschool and under. I use scarves for so many different reasons. The fact that they are really super cheap. I think I bought these like 9 years ago and I still use the same ones. They're nice and bright and colourful. You can wash them, and the gross motor skill development is fabulous with them. And children of all ages can use them. Babies can use them. Children who are 11 can use them. So they're really cost effective and versatile. So there's so many points I want to touch on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through my basic movements that I use, and then how I link it into five key areas. So we all know that you can do cross lines, so the children can cross the line of their body. Okay, so really great to get them crossing that center line. They can switch hands. Okay, so from one hand to the other. They can do zigzags. They can do throwing and catching, one of their favorites. Okay, throwing and catching. So this is the first development, which I would use before going onto a beanbag and then onto a ball. So you can get all the preschoolers throwing and catching these scarves. When they go to infant school and they start in foundation stage, I then progress onto beanbags and then later on balls as we go through. So twisting, circles, making lots of shapes, lines, waves, moving from side to side. Another great thing is throwing to each other. So again, instead of using a beanbag or a ball, get them to throw the scarf to one another. You're not going to damage anything. They're not going to hurt themselves, because it's very unlikely they'll be able to catch a beanbag or a ball 4 and under. So the scarves are a great alternative. We like scrumple them up and then just throw and use it like a ball. We wiggle around, we float. There's so many different things. We hide ourselves. We make ourselves into Elsa with like a little cape. We make ourselves into Superman. So we fly around with our capes as well. You can theme it into pretty much anything. So I just want to take you through a couple of key principles where I use these. So tempo. We all like a bit of tempo. You can use a lovely piece of music, which I use all the time. It's called Fast and Slow by Hap Palmer. And I've used it for years and years and years. And it never gets old. And you go slowly, really slowly. So that's when you sort of encourage them to move like a tortoise or another slow animal. And then they go really, really quickly. And you'd normally say like a cheetah or a lion, but they can run and move their scarves really, really fast. And then they go back to slow. And when the children hold it, I always get them to hold with their finger and their thumb. So they've got, when they do it slowly, they can easily wave the scarf from side to side rather than holding it like this, because it kind of takes the slow, soft element away when they've got a clenched fist. So I always say, get your pincer fingers and hold it in the corner. Okay. So tempo is a really fab one. You can also do that mixed in with instruments. So you can have instruments on the floor and then you can have the scarves and then you can switch over. So 1 minute they're using slow with an instrument, then fast. Then you can swap over, slow with a scarf, then fast. Then they can do it with their bodies, move slow and then fast. So you've got three different varieties there, all going slow and fast, and using a scarf in with all of that. We then have teamwork. So for the preschoolers and under, I get them to stand in a circle and we pass a scarf, like pass a parcel around the circle. Then if I think that they've mastered that, we then start doing another colour. Then we start doing another colour, then another one. And before we know it, we've got all these scarves moving around the circle really nicely. And then we stop when there's more than two sort of being held by one person at one time. We count how many scarves we've got, then we start again and see if we can do the same number or be better and get more scarves going round. So that's a really fun one. they absolutely love it. However, some of them get quite frustrated if their friend isn't paying attention, but I really enjoy doing it with the children. And another one for teamwork is the throwing and catching from one person to another. That's also really lovely. So it's tempo and teamwork. We've then got movement. Okay, so movement can fall into so many different brackets, but for today's tutorial, I'm just going to say moving as in marching. Okay, moving as marching, pretending that they're flags. You can put on some marching band music and they can move around doing linear patterns, so they can follow the leader, but they're doing up and down with their scarf. Then another person leads, then the person goes to the back, then they can wave the scarf in the air like a flag. Then the next person leads and they can do circles. Then the next person leads, they can do shoves down to the floor. And you can play around with so many different ways. You can say march forwards, or march on the spot and shake your scarf up high, march on the spot and shake your scarf down low. But for me, marching, the marching beat really helps with that. Okay, we can then also incorporate animals with scarves. So busy bumblebees, butterflies, birds, anything that you want. They can have 2 scarves each if you have enough. And again, it's free movement. I love to do free movement when it focuses on an animal like this. So they can move around, moving their wings up and down. And again, holding like the scarf really softly up and down. And I like to use the song Flight of the Bumblebee, especially for the buzzy bees, if we're going really, really fast. Butterfly would be any kind of classical music that I use. We were also pterodactyls in my dinosaur lesson plan. So we soar across the sky like pterodactyls. So anything with wings, scarves are ideal. You can also incorporate weather. So if you're doing a weather theme, we can incorporate swooshes and sways for a rainbow. And I use a really nice version of Sing a Rainbow. It's by the Israel guy, and I can never pronounce his whole name, but if you're looking for it, I think he's called Iz, and it's a beautiful version of Sing a Rainbow. So you could be rainbow, and then I have sound effects for the wind, and they're like little hurricanes spinning around, and they throw them up and catch them like it's really, really windy. Then the music changes and they're a rainbow again. And then all of a sudden the sun's gonna come out. So they're making circles, and they're going into a circle and out to a circle, into a circle, out to a circle. So it's structured but free movement. And it's great for their arm muscles. If we do a couple of exercises with scarves, they're always like, my arms. Well, I feel it anyway. So scarves for me are an absolute hit. Theme it in. You can theme it in with any lesson plan that you're doing. So we're doing growing and what are we doing? We've done, today has been teddy bears. So we used these as blankets to wrap the teddy bears in. And next week is World Book Day. So it depends which stories I pick, will depend on whether I use them. Then after that, we've got growing and planting, which is spring. So these will be the sunshine. I've got yellow and orange scarves. The children make the sunshine. And there's a couple of them who make the wind and all the seeds fly away. Okay. Then we've got Easter. So we'll have lots of Easter animals. I'm not sure if we're using them in Easter actually. Got a couple of books. We're going on a bear hunt. They're the river, the sea. So we're going for under the sea theme. You can be seaweed. You can be moving up and down, forwards and back. What else have we got? Instead, if you're stuck on space when you're using a parachute, instead of using balls or teddy bears or whatever it might be, if you don't want to kind of create mayhem, the scarves are a great option for the parachute as well, because it's soft, and that's great for babies and the toddlers, because if they are flying everywhere, then it doesn't matter. So I hope that helps. Hope that's given you a couple of ideas for using scarves. Like I said, use them in any way you can. Tap them on the floor, throw them in the air, pass them around your body. crossover, cross line, floating, wiggling, high to low, side to side. It really is probably one of the best pieces of equipment I have. So let me know what you think, and let me know if you've taken away any of those ideas. I'd love to hear.